remember seeing stars. This is what Apollo 11 astronaut Michael Collins states concerning his moon landing experience. Now, let's say we had gone to the moon. Would we be able to remember seeing stars or not? Or would we be able to remember every single detail of our journey to another celestial body? Is it such a shock that we wouldn't be able to remember? I don't know. It's such an out-of-this-world experience. The moon landing legend, Michael Collins, admitted he did not remember seeing any stars during NASA's Apollo 11 mission more than 50 years ago. This is what was unearthed from a footage having to do with their interview concerning their experience. July 21st, 1961, Collins played a pivotal role in getting the first two men, Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin, to step foot on the moon. And 6 hours after touching down, Armstrong would jump off the lunar lander Eagle to deliver his one small step speech, watched by millions on Earth, before the pair buried the U.S. flag into the moon's surface, signifying the end of the space race. But in the meantime, Collins orbited alone in the command module for 21 hours, in which he would be dubbed the loneliest man in the universe by former test pilot. He said that he did not remember seeing any stars during that trip. Speaking at a press conference weeks after returning to Earth, Armstrong said, "We were never able to see stars from the lunar surface or on the daytime side of the moon without looking through the optics." He says, "I don't recall during the period of time that we were photographing what stars we could see." Before Collins added, "I don't remember seeing any." Many moon landing conspiracies centered around the idea that no stars could be seen in the photos taken by Aldrin and Armstrong, but there is a rational explanation for this, they said. Stars are rarely seen in space photos because the light from the sun in outer space in the Earth-Moon system is at least as bright as the sunlight that reaches the Earth's surface on a clear day at noon, so cameras used for imaging subjects illuminated by sunlight are set for daylight exposure. The dim light of the star simply does not provide enough exposure to record visible images. That's what they explain. During the same press conference, Aldrin was asked what the surface of the moon was like to walk on. He said, "In rather flat regions, the footprint would penetrate perhaps half an inch, sometimes only a quarter, and give a very fine response. The other regions, near the edges of these craters, we could find the foot would sink maybe 2, 3, possibly 4 inches. In the slope, of course, the various edges of the footprint might go in 6 or 7 inches. Compacting this material would tend to produce a slight sideways motion as was compacted into the material underneath it." And he said, "We feel that you cannot always tell by looking at the terrain what the exact resistance will be as the foot sinks into it. So one must be quite cautious," he said. After these discussions, a journalist in the crowd quizzed Armstrong on whether NASA's preparations were detailed enough for dealing with a landing on a dusty moon surface. And he said, "I think the simulations that we have had at the present time to enable a pilot to understand the lunar landing do the job sufficiently well. Above that, I think it's just a matter of pilot experience," he said. So it's not that deep. They call it dust. It's dusty and not soil, not thicker than dust. Isn't that something? This is by Callum Hoare on Express UK. If you'd like to join me on my Patreon account, you will hear content not covered by mainstream media. These riveting stories will be based on my research, and I will state my opinions and give my personal insight on diverse and controversial subjects and world events not covered by mainstream media, and not supported by YouTube guidelines. So whatever I have on my Patreon, most of those will not be on my YouTube channel. Please consider becoming a member today. More of the most significant and important videos will be on my Patreon channel. Your support helps me to continue my research and keeps this YouTube channel alive. And we depend on your support, your generous charity, because we help economically challenged families here in Athens, Greece, in Kapota, and we also help the young generation with university tuition and the community around our church. Thank you.